I wanted to coach with someone, and she died before I could join her program. People think they have time, and they don't have time, and that's a huge problem. So this girl, Laura Hames Franklin, I don't think anybody who follows me knows who she is. She was very unconventional. She did a lot of work with tapping. So meridian tapping is where you tap on acupuncture points on your body, and it releases like stuck emotions, stuck energy. So you either get it or you don't. It's kind of one of those things where you try it and you see how you feel. But she had like all these different programs on tapping, and she was all about creating like magic in her everyday life. She lived in New York City, or somewhere in New York, and then she moved to Bali and was there for a long time away from her husband. But I actually met her at an event that she did in January 2016. I flew to New York. It was the first time I had ever been to New York, and I met her and her group of people that were like doing this training with her. And I had been following her for several years because she put out a vlog like about once a week, or maybe more frequently than that. She had been doing this consistently for a long time. And she was quirky and she was kind of out there, but there was something about her approach that I was intrigued by. I didn't agree with everything that she said or did, but she had something that was very interesting to me. She almost had a bit of a cult following, but it was like very positive and airy-fairy cult. But I went to this event. I wouldn't even call it an event. We gathered in almost like a gym studio. This is the year that New York had that giant snowstorm, the record of all time, where I used my mind to like make sure that I could fly home, and it all worked out. Some of you might remember that from my email list that I wrote. I wrote that story a few years ago. I went to New York, and I did this training with her. And I really didn't vibe with her people, but I'm so glad that I went to the training because there was something about it that called to me. I liked her sales page. I liked what the training promised. It was just a lot of movement, and it was a lot of like unconventional movement. So a lot of people do like weightlifting. I love weightlifting and like structured movements. And this was very unstructured movement. So we did tapping sessions. We learned how to like facilitate tapping sessions with other people, etc. So I got to meet her. She actually did a tapping session on me in front of the whole group, which I will always remember. I had very sparkly purple and black nails at the time, and she commented on them. And she did the tapping session on me, and I don't even remember what it was, but it was really cool. And I remember having this thought in the back of my mind, like, I'm really curious about her one-on-one program. Like, I feel like there's something that I could learn from her. I feel like there's some tweak, because she had all these testimonials from like people, like all kinds of people, and some of them were very high-level people. And they're like, I swear on Laura Hames Franklin, she's like my secret weapon. She's my magic. And so, like, she had obviously worked with a lot of these people, and I thought that was interesting. And I kept thinking I should join her one-on-one program, and I didn't do it because I was afraid of the price tag on it. And I kind of forgot about it. I didn't prioritize it. Fast forward to 2021. So it's like March 2021. I hadn't really heard anything from her in a while. She had been quiet all of 2020, it seemed like. And, maybe she was talking somewhere, but her social media had been seemed like it had been quiet for the most part. And I was so curious on her thoughts on what was going on in the world, her thoughts on masks. I couldn't see her following any of it. And I was so curious. I was like, please say something about it. I have to know what you're thinking about it. And I never saw anything. And I don't know if she ever shared anything, maybe with her group programs or something, but I didn't see anything for whatever reason. And I had actually unsubscribed from her email list at one point. And so I went to her Instagram, which I didn't actually follow, but I went there and I was like, I wonder what she's up to. I go to her page and there's this announcement that she had actually passed away in January of 2021. And I'm like, what? And I go read about it and I dig and I try to find out what happened? Why? What did she die from? She was super healthy, super fit, super in shape. I mean, she had abs. She glowed, right? She ate healthy. Everything about her was healthy. She taught health. And I found that her mom had posted on Facebook these images of Laura lying on a hospital bed, being tied up to all these tubes. From what I recall, she had had appendicitis, or she was misdiagnosed with something around her appendix, and she was in Bali, and she didn't get the hospital care, the emergency care that she needed, and there was just this awful pain and this awful decline, out of nowhere. And I got such chills when I found out about that. And I was like, oh my God, she's gone. I didn't even hear about it when it happened. I found out about it 2 months after she had already gone. And this just blew my mind. This is a healthy individual and her appendix just fails. And the point I'm trying to make is that we are not guaranteed tomorrow. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. So people have a huge problem in that they don't have enough urgency. When you hear someone say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it next year, I plan on doing it next year, you're not guaranteed any of that. You're not even guaranteed tonight. We don't know when our time is. And we have to have a healthy relationship with the urgency that we're all going to die at some point, and we don't know when that is going to be. The best quote I've ever heard around this is someone that said, I don't fuck with next week. So if someone's telling you, yeah, I'll get to it next week, why don't we start next week? I don't fuck with next week. We're doing this now or we're not doing this. And people use timing as such a reason not to do their life, not to follow the callings that they have from within. And, that it just haunts me because in my mind, with Laura, she died, and there's this discrepancy between everything that I did learn from her and everything that I would have learned from her if I had joined her one-on-one program, which I had been eyeballing for all these years. I was intrigued by it, curious by it, and I never followed that thing. And I mean, who knows, maybe it would have been, we just don't know. I could say maybe it would have been a waste of money, maybe it would have been this, that, but you don't know. So it's closing the discrepancy between what I learned from her and what I would have learned from her, and closing that discrepancy with the urgency. Now, I actually used this awareness and this sense of, okay, this person died, to help me make a different decision, and that was to hire a different coach who I also don't know when or if. I mean, well, we know that definitely everyone is going to die at some point. We just don't know when. So this is a person that is in a very precarious situation. Wes Watson, he got out of prison. He was in prison for 10 years. I know a lot of people on my following know who he is. And we love his stuff, right? He's amazing. And I was like hearing these little hints of, you know, he thinks certain things could happen to him at any time, and nothing is guaranteed. And that's why he takes his life so seriously and his business growth so seriously. He's not wasting a single moment. And it just connected in my brain that I had that same thought of like, I wanted to join his business coaching program. I wanted to be a student and I wanted to learn. And I had that same thing. And I'm like, oh my God, like I already went through this. Somebody already died before I could join their program. I need to not hesitate on this. I need to not wait on this. So I joined his program. And I'm like, I don't want that discrepancy anymore. The what I learned versus what I could have learned, what I would have learned if, you know, something had happened. So it's like, close that discrepancy. We need to create that urgency from within because nothing is guaranteed. And yes, shout out to Wes Watson. Yeah, he's an unconventional mentor for sure. I go to the unconventional people, the ones that are not like aligned with society, because society is just whack, right? I go to the people that see things differently, that do things differently. They get different results. Like that's what we're after. We're not after being mediocre and average and doing absolutely nothing with our lives. We're going after really doing something that is like in alignment with what our conscience is calling us to do. So that's my message for today. We need to create the urgency from within inside. You know, don't cave into urgency from a predatory marketer who's trying to push an unwanted product onto you, which is happening a lot today. That's predatory marketing. That's not coming from inside you. That's coming from somebody that has an agenda that they're trying to push on you. So we want to tap into the urgency that's already inside you. You want to listen to, what is my conscience calling me to do? What do I feel drawn to? What am I curious about? What do I keep coming back to in my thinking? What like creates this feeling of like expansion and possibility when I think about it? Like those types of things are the things that your conscience is nudging you towards because there's something there that you can learn and experience and grow from, and it can make all the difference. I mean, when I went to New York, that gave me so much good writing material that year. I had so much good stuff to write about, and I was writing my email list, and that was like one of my highest years ever in business was 2016. And I've already surpassed that. And like, I just remember thinking, how did I do this? And it's because like I followed that inkling of, okay, I want to go to the event. Like I want to go to this training. I love to travel. And, you know, New York was a brand new scene for me. I was like, I could never live here, but I'm glad that I experienced it. Now I know what it was like before all of this crazy stuff. And I have a sense of like why they're falling for so much stuff is because they're so disconnected to like infinite intelligence, but that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, take your life seriously. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is promised. It could all be over tonight. Like, don't waste time. I've wasted so much time in my life and it sickens me, and it's a battle to like not waste that time. Like, it feels so good when you go your whole day just taking everything so seriously, being grateful for everything and like doing the work that you need to do and enjoying the process. It feels so much better than wasting your own time and wasting your life. So yeah, don't waste time. Let's get on it.